isang tabi muna ang problema.
Magsama-sama, magpabakuna,
Magsayawan,
pag-fully vax na.
tayo'y magpabakuna. Let's spread the good vibes sa bayan. Tayo'y magsama-sama. Let's get back for good vibes, kababayan.
Okay, good afternoon mga ka-people. It's Friday again. The Doctor is in version 2 is sharing with you another episodes of health and wellness. Mga impormasyon nga dapat natong mahibaluan dili lang sa atong panimalay kundi sa atong trabahoan. We are already experiencing the new normal, but not only in our home but also in our workplace. But let us be mindful if our present situations, particularly kanang pag-open sa atong face-to-face classes in our school, sa mga mall, movie houses, and then mga resorts, as well as transportation, both land, air, or even sea travel. Let us always follow our minimum health standard protocol like wearing of face mask and physical distancing. Then, of course, ang atong pag-receive sa bakuna nato. Mostly of us have already received our primary doses, katong first dose and second dose, and we are already encouraging ang pagpa-booster. Karon na nata sa second booster wherein we are encouraging our senior citizen as well as our frontliners. Ang uban na nakakuha na o nakakuha na sa ilang second booster sa vaccines nga ilang giganahan. So hinaot unta nga magpadayon ta sa atong paglikay ining COVID-19 because we are not yet free from this virus. Now mga ka-people, let us maintain this alert status level. Naa nato karon nga 1 or 2 and we have lesser restriction as compared to alert level 3 or 4. Mga preventive measures nga atong gipatuman ilabi na sa atong daily activities. Mga preventive measures nga gitawag nato og engineering control as well as administrative control. Mga balaod nga atong ipatuman for our safety. But before we pause for a break, I would like to greet our CPMPC staff sa tanang mga branches diri sa Cebu City, Mandawi, and Lapu-Lapu, and all our branches sa Tibok Lalawigan sa Cebu. Our CEO, Mr. Brian Yap, sir, good afternoon, and to our Chairman of the Board, Mr. Manolito Ardemir. Our CPMPC members here and abroad, maayong hapon kaninyong tanan. With a lesser restriction, makapadayon ta sa atong face-to-face consultation during scheduled activities. Or much better, during mga anniversary, in order that we could provide more face-to-face consultations sa atong mga ka-people. Okay. Ang Cebu People's Multipurpose Cooperative nag-offer og vitamin C, ang MyC sodium ascorbate. Gawa sa pagpadugang o pag-boost sa atong immune system, ang vitamin C na ay ubang benepisyo sa pagtumar nato sa adlaw-adlaw. Una, it reduces the risk of chronic diseases, mga risgo sa mga sakit ng high blood, diabetes, COPD, or even heart diseases. So it also prevents iron deficiency anemia as well as vitamin C deficiency. It also hastens wound healing, increased body resistance against infectious diseases. Ang MyC or sodium ascorbate doesn't cause hyperacidity as compared to ascorbic acid. So mga ka-people, MyC ang proteksyon o kauban sa adlaw-adlaw natong panginabuhi. Aside from giving us protection sa atong panglawas, it has also given us the opportunity to win this 2022 MyC raffle draw promo. So you have the chance to win any of the following grand prize of a smart TV, second prize mountain bike, third prize gas stove 2-burner, and 47 winners of consolation prize of 5 kilos rice. So pag MyC, siguradong malakas at panalo. So let us pause for a break.
Nalabada ko para lang jud na ako ikaw galing kwarta. 80 pesos ra jud kada adlaw akong paningkamutan para na ako ikaw galing kwarta niya. Kana kung ba na mag-tricycle. Then nakarealize ko ba kung nanay nanindas karbon. Ato jud ko sa karbon manimpada ko dito ba kay 7 years old na akong anak, and then kuan padung na sila eskwela akong nanguna bangon saon ako pagkuan akong anak nga para maka-eskwela gyud. Nyang usa nakatabang jud nako ang People's Co-op. Unya kaning People's Co-op dool jud sa kundughan kay di jud ko ka tug di ko jud ikaw man akong tinda mo dagan jud ko dito dugay na kay nang panahon taga-adlaw jud ko dito sa Co-op. Unya ikaw man ana na koy mga problema eskwelahan sa bata kay sige lang jud kog bayad taga-adlaw jud bayad nang man nag-eskwela kong anak sige kuan tabang ang People's Co-op sa kuha. Narabaho na akong anak ron. Nya ang akong kamagwang nga anak ko na ron kanang supervisor na sa dakong company. Nya ang People's Co-op may dako jud nakatabang nako. Kay dili man ko maingon ani kung wala jud tabang ang People's Co-op. So jud magpa-member sa People's Co-op nga pa-member mo kay ang People's Co-op dako jud kay ni katabang sa tuwa sa atong panginahanglanon sa adlaw-adlaw nato mga problema nato ang People's Co-op jud
sa sinugdanan gyud kami sa una lisod gyud mi sa amo ang panginabuhi ay sa kuan sa sinugdanan gyud ay mao to iyang giingon nga nandabada siya ako na ay kuan namanday dayon nagkuag tricycle mao tong ingon siya nga kuan magpamembro ko nagsabot min duha magpamembro siya ra may una nga nagpamembro sa Co-op ako bag-uhay pa man lang ko. Ang kaayuhan nga nakuha na mo nga nang ang pagkahuman sa amo ang mga anak ug eskwela. Usa gyud siya nga kuan kay mao gyud among paningkamot nga ang among anak makahuman gyud eskwela nya dayon pagkakuan nga wala may financial para sa eskwelahan sa Co-op gyud mo dangop. Mao tong makakuan may anang kuan ginagmay abagan sa amo ang income ginagmay sad. Mao nang nasolbad ang kuan problema mao nang among mga anak nakahuman gyud sa eskwela. Mao nang pasalamat ko sa Co-op nga dako kay nakatabang ri sa amo nga kuan nga kayuhan sa kinabuhi. Katong gusto nga magpamembro sa People's Co-op magpamembro na ta ug kuan kay dako kay kaayuhan nga ikahatag sa ato ang kuan sa mga problema sa panginabuhi mo nang ug ganahan mo intra gyud mo sa kuan sa People's Co-op kay dako kay kaayuhan nga mahimo sa kinabuhi.
Okay, good afternoon again. The doctor is in. My topic this afternoon is about nutritional guide. So what is this nutritional guide? Mauni ang paghatag nako og gamay information about how important is nutrition in our body. Unsa ka importante ang mga pagkaon nga atong kaon, ang atong mga gipang-inom, as well as our lifestyle behavior. So this is really important for us as we grow old, as we gracefully grow old, nga importante gyud kung unsay atong gipangkaon kada adlaw, ug unsay atong gipang-inom, ug how important is our lifestyle behavior so that we can still continue to live longer. Okay, next slide. So this nutritional guide, we will be talking about the ideal body weight nato, how important is our weight in our body, ang atong gipangkaon o nga the different carbohydrates, mga fibers, mga fats, how we would limit our intake sa mga salty foods or even fats, and then how we are going to drink alcoholic beverage drinking. Then how important is water in our body, and how important is exercise, and how important why we have to avoid smoking. So mauni ang mga conditions to have a better lifestyle, a better nutrition guide nato so that we could live happily. So number one, ang atong discussion is about maintaining the ideal body weight. how important is the ideal body weight. So, in order to maintain ay ideal body weight, kinahanglan mahibaw ta sa atong body mass index. So, unsa man yung body mass index? This is a good estimate to the degree of obesity or the amount of body fat. So, usahay, kung manambok na ta, makita usa kay akong body mass index or BMI, kinahanglan nga antigo ta musukod sa atong body mass index based on the height as well as on the weight. So ato nang i-compute, and there is a normal range ana whether you are still normal ang imong body mass index or overweight na ka or obese na ka. So importante nga makahibalo ta sa atong body mass index because through this BMI, it would also help us determine how much risk ang ato to develop a certain health problem. Like for example, kung overweight na ka or kuwang na ka, underweight na ka, it would lead to diabetic ba or heart ailments. Muna nga importante yun nga magsige ta og timbang sa atong kaugalingon kung di na ba ta nag-lose weight ba ta or nag-increase weight ba ta. That is how important our body mass index based on the height as well as your weight. And then, as I've said, na ay normal range ana para makahibaw ta kung we are still in the normal range or we are already obese or not. Okay, now, so next slide. So, ang body mass index classification, mao ni, you might be underweight or normal ra ba ang imong range, or you are already at risk, or overweight, or obese na ka, tambok na ka, either obese 1 or obese 2. Then, based on this classification, mahibaw-an nato kung risgo na bata sa usa ka particular disease. So, if your weight is too high already, obese na ka, then ang imong risgo is very severe. Okay. So, mauna nga, importante yun nato nga, mahibawan nato kung we are already at risk to a particular disease based on our BMI or based on our body mass index. Okay. Now, next slide. Now, importante kayo nga, when you eat your meals, kinahanglan nga balance yun. Dili kay daghan tang gikaon nga carbohydrates, walay fats, and then kuwang ta sa tubig. Kinahanglan nga we have to eat in a certain way nga normal or equally distributed sa atong gipangkaon. Ha? So meaning to say, as the pyramid goes up, meaning to say nga lesser ang amount of food that you will eat kung naa sa taas ang different kinds of food. So, kanang maba, the base of the pyramid, meaning to say nga, anha ang imong daghang needs sa pagkaon, like carbohydrates, breads, or even cereals. Then, next is the fruit and vegetable. Then, number 3, kaning milk, cheese, and yogurt. Then, meat, fish, eggs, and then small amount of kanang mga junk foods, for example, or mga cheese, oil, or even other mga small amount of food that we have to particularly eat. Okay, next slide. Okay, eat complex form of carbohydrates food. Okay, so kaning carbohydrates food, mauni ang carbohydrates that are digested slowly. Kaning complex carbohydrates are digested slowly, keeping our energy level stabilized. So, kung we eat a large amount of carbohydrates, kaning carbohydrates nga atong gikaon sama sa mga rice or potato, mga root crops, will be digested slowly para makadugang na sa atong energy level for a period of time. And then, atong gyapong nervous system needs 2 times only in the form of glucose and as well as other food that we are eating. Okay. Then, it can also use this food that we ate, or these carbohydrates, only in the form of glucose, hence complex carbs supply our energy to the vital parts of our body. So kaning carbohydrates, okay, is the source of complex or packed nutrients that help us be energetic throughout the day. So importante gyud ang carbohydrates for our daily food because that would help us to become energized throughout the day. A diet that really works wonders for most of our people is food in a high complex of carbohydrates with moderate proteins and low fat. So this strategy is sure to nourish you with nutrients where our body requires and to ensure us good health. Muna, ka-importante kaayo ang atong carbohydrates for our daily intake to make us feel good and energized all the time. Okay, next slide. Okay, next is to eat high fiber foods. So, unsa maning high fiber foods? Example ani ang atong mga vegetables, mga leafy vegetables, mga dahon-dahon nga atong pagkanon. Now, mga dietary fiber are also known as roughage or bulk, included in all parts of the plant food that you can eat or digest or absorb. Now, fiber isn't digested by our body. Kadi dili ni siya ma-digest atong body, but it passes relatively intact. Mugawas ni sa atong digestive system, sa atong tiyan, sa atong small intestine, and then sa atong colon, and out of your body. Minsan, that's why sometimes when you go to the CR, mukakaon ta og utan, dahon, na mugawas sa gihapon ang dahon sa atong gipangkaon. Because, as I've said, this could not be digested, but it really helps us in the absorption of our food intake sa atong lawas. So, unlike other food components as fat, proteins, or carbohydrates, which our body will break down and absorb. But as compared to high fiber or fibers nga, or roughage or bulk, it will be digested, but sometimes it just go out sa atong body and it would help us cleanse our body. So, inana ka importante ang atong pagkaon sa high fiber food. Okay, so unsa may function ani atong gikaon nga mga high fiber foods. Next slide. So, it regulates bowel movement. So, muna, importante kaayo nga mukaon ta og fiber because sometimes kung magkalisod ta og pass out sa atong mga waste, it would help us regulate. So, sometimes yung ka nga thrice a week ka makaadto sa CR. So, with this help of this mga high fiber food, it would regulate our bowel movement. Then, it would also cut the risk of developing colon cancer. Because if we could not eat and then dili na to makapagawas ang atong mga waste, then sometimes it will develop so many illnesses sa atong digestive system. Muna nga importante kaayo nga magkaon gyud ta og sakto sa atong adlaw-adlaw. Then it also prevent the formation of hemorrhoids and other GIT diseases. So muna ako ang giingon nga importante gyud kaayo nga mukaon tag mga utanon, mga root crops because they are high in fiber and would help us regulate our bowel movement as well as it would prevent other GIT or gastrointestinal diseases, tract diseases. And it also help eliminate cholesterol and would prevent from entering into the bloodstream. Kaya ang cholesterol sometimes is not good for our body. Muna, it would also help us eliminate this as we continue to eat high fiber diet. Okay, let us pause for a break.
Ang akong asawa, good, tinda-tinda mami niya, para na'y savings, nasa'y kuan nga kwarta kay magtigom-tigom ta sa ato, lisod mo kita ka, tigom mo dayon kay, say makuot ra, magasto, so, ni kuan siya, na-interest sa co-op, kay, naman po yung mga benepisyo nga matag niya natay dibidindo nga makuha niya makapundo-pundo ta didto natay mga kinahanglanon sa tungkuan tindahan puno-puno puhunan magamit ra dito og ulunta di sad kay dako og interes ikumpara ro ng aritas mga turko nga kuan yun maglisod na nung pagbayad ang kuob murag dali ra magud ang kuob ikumpara nimo o ikumpara gani mo sa bangko mas kuan gani ang kuob ang bangko mulon ka og partig loan kuti kay bangko daghan kay mga requirements ang kuob di man kayo kuti nya pinobre lang ba nato dali ra sa nato maduulan ang kuob gyud sa laktod maka kuan og labi pag kinahanglan tag mga loan or kwarta financial o na mga kuan sad produkto nilang ipamaligya makakuha ra gyapon ta labi parang panahon nga naaging mga katuigan di mo nagkalakihan na panahon nga maglisod ta ang kwarta gid nga iyang na-loan diri dako gyud kay kitabang kay sa nagtrabaho pa ko nagtinda-tinda siya ginagmay nya usay og di pa maabot ang akong sweldo ari wa may laing maduulan taon niya dayon kay wa man taw miingon nga nay mga kaliwat nga dali nga atong kahuman so ako gyud ako gyud ikatabang sa iyang panginabuhi atong higayuna kaya nga nagtrabaho pa ko nga di pa maabot akong sweldo niya makuwangan ros puhunan so iyang gipuhunan ang kwarta nga iyang nagamit sa kuop so mo to iyang gipalambo nahantod kay karon nga niundang kong trabaho ang katong negosyo niya nga nasugdan nga namaligya og soft drinks na develop man gyapon ako hantod karon og nilambo na ginoon ni dako na kay nag-stockholder naman kog mga soft drinks ron mo to nga nagsugod sa ginagmay loan ginagmay sa co-op nga gi-develop niya savings loan savings hantod nga nilambo karon dako na ginoon kayo ikatabang og mulong sa ta dinaggo na sa Ginoon sad ni ako karon kay na kuan lagi matay naman taon nga akong asawa nya ikuha ko sa mga benepisyo nga kanang gitawag nilag damayan nga para sa akong asawa so nakadawat in taon ko kaluoy sa Ginoo nihatag man ang People's Coop Cebu People's Coop og palipay na ko nga silbi sa ilang damayan so di ako taoy na kuha nga kwarta 15,000 taon rin ako taon kay ikatabang sa kamatayon sa kong asawa sa ubang mga bayro noon salamat kay sa Cebu People's Coop yun na nakatabang-tabang yun siya nako dili lang kay sa kuan mga makaluon ko ug sa panahon ng kalisod ko nga namatyan ko sa kong asawa nauna sa Ginoo nagpasalamat sa ko sa Ginoo nga tagaan ko niyang may lawas. O ikaduha, salamat gid kay sa Cebu People's Coop sad nga sa financial problem nako atabangan gitawon ko nila nagkuy nakuha taon nga kwarta nga makabayad gitawon ko sa kubang mga utang salamat gid kay inyo sa tanan nga mga nagduma sa Cebu People's Coop.
Okay, going back to the Doctor is in version 2. Now, another advantage of eating high fiber diet is it also prevent blood clots. Now, kung naatay blood clot, kung saan ma-develop na to, usa ka stroke. Okay, so dili ta ganahan nga ma-stroke ta or mo-develop ta og heart attack. So importante kayo ang pagkaon og mga high fiber diet. Then it would also help patients who are diabetic. Because it maintains steady level of our blood sugar and controls food craving. Then sometimes it has a better absorption of our vitamins that we take as well as our minerals kung magkaunta og mga high fiber diet. So importante good na that if you take medicines, if you take vitamins and minerals, dili kay moingon ta nga tungod kay nagkauna ta or nagtake ta tag vitamins, we are already sure of our karong adlaw kay nakahatag og additional nga sa atong pagkaon ang vitamins and minerals. But with the better absorption, kung mutake ka og vitamins, is you also to take high fiber diet. Okay, next slide. So, we have to limit intake of fat and salt. So, kanay, importante gyapon ni nga atong limitahan ang atong paghatag og kanang asgad sa atong mga pagkaon or salty food. We have to limit eating salty food or oily food. Okay, sa atong hibaw-an ana, mingon ang doktor nga kung natay high blood, kinahanglan nga atong ilimit ang pagkaon og mga salty foods or oily foods. So, unsa may function sa salt sa atong body? It does not mean na dili sa tabukaon or mo take og salty food. But the function of salt in our body is the sodium would help us regulate our body function such as blood pressure and fluid volume. So, importante gyapon ang salt sa atong body because it would regulate our bodily function like our blood pressure as well as our fluid volume. Because if we keep on eating salty food also more than the required, then nakatawag mga fluid retention as well as mo increase ang atong blood pressure. So, it is water and salt that would energize us or activate our body. Dili ito mga food that we take, but the water as well as the salt would energize us daily or every day and would activate our body. Okay, next slide. Now, so fat is a nutrient that is important source of calorie. So when we eat a lot of high fat food, kanang mga oily food, we get a lot of calories. Okay, so we take mga pork, tambok kayo ang mga pork atong gikaon, then we have a lot of calories. Then with too many calories sa atong lawas, we may gain weight. So mutaas mo ang atong timbang mo increase. Then eating too much fat may also increase the risk of getting diseases like cancer, mga heart disease, high blood or stroke. So mao na nga importante gyud nga how we are going to eat a fatty foods in our body nga dili ta maka-gain og much calories, and then that would lead us to overweight, and through overweight we can develop an increased risk of different diseases. Mao na nga kinahanglan pod na atong limitahon ang atong pagkaon og mga oily food. So fat also is needed to carry and store essential fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin D. So, dili lang kay katong mga high-fiber diet nga maka-absorb sa atong vitamins and minerals, but also fatty foods also is also needed to carry or store our essential fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A as well as vitamin D. Okay, now next slide. Is to drink alcohol moderately. Okay, so sa ako mga previous mga discussions diri sa The Doctor Is In, nagkahisgot ta about drinking or alcoholic drinking. Now, wala nato gi advise ang atong mga ka-people nga bundang og inom, but we have to drink moderately. Okay. Most people who drink do so moderately and responsibly as part of a healthy diet and lifestyle. So importante kaayo na nga when we drink moderately, sometimes it is part of our daily activities or even activities that would require skills. Like for example, driving. So dili ba ayo nga mo inom ta while we are driving, because that would only lead us to accident. Muna nga when we go to parties, we have to drink moderately. Kung dili ka drink moderately or dili ka drive, much better nga dili lang ka mo inom. Okay, Kaya kung mainom ta and then you cannot drink it moderately, then that would lead to serious consequences like accident. Muna importante yun na we have to drink alcoholic beverages moderately. Okay, next slide. Okay, next is to drink plenty of water. Okay, so importante ang pag-inom og daghang water. Okay, every life-giving and healing process that happens inside our body happens with water. Importante yun ang water because the human body is a water machine. Okay, so wala taga-ingon nga kinahanglan gyud ta mo inom og tubig. It is designed primarily to run on water and minerals. Okay, so ang atong human body is made up of 70% water. So atong tibuok lawas is made up of 70% water. Our blood is more than 80%, our brain over 75%, and our liver, ang atong atay, is needs 96% of water. So mauna kadaghanon sa tubig na naa sa atong lawas because we are a machine of water. Okay. So, in the last decade, nakita nila na medical science has begun to focus more on the tremendous healing ability our body has and how much ability to depend on water. So, our body instinctively knows how and strive to sustain youthful longevity in every effort. So, water is the key for us that we have to drink daily para we have to maintain our life as well as we need water in our body. As what I've said, ang atong blood needs our water, our brain needs water, and even our liver needs water. And it's not only little water to sustain, but we have to need water para to sustain our life. Okay. Next, exercise regularly. Okay, so why is exercise a necessity? Because it has provided a lot of advantage for a person kung mag-exercise siya regularly. Okay, number one, it helps him look good, and then a person become productive kung mag-exercise siya kada adlaw. Then it also reduce the risk of heart diseases. Muna importante yung kayo nga mag-exercise ta. So there are many benefits sa mga exercise. So many forms of exercise are available, not only breaststroke, jogging, or sports activities, but anything that would make you physically fit. Now, you have to schedule, for example, mga 40 to 45 minutes per workout session. And then out of that 45 minutes, you have to spend mga 10 minutes warming up. Okay, dili kay budritso ka og dagat if you are into running, but you have to spend around 10 minutes of warming up, then 30 minutes of working out, kana na ang pagdagat mo if you are in a running condition, then 5 to 10 minutes of cooling down. So inana ang pag-exercise nimo regularly. There should be a time for your warming up, for your workout, as well as your cooling down. Dili kay pag human mo before ka exercise, budritso ka og dagan, you need to have a warming up in order that you could develop a strength as well when you continue your exercise. Okay, make a habit of it. Then you have to choose a exercise that you will enjoy. Okay, dili kay mo exercise ka to a particular sports nga wala ka na enjoy. Importante yun nga ang imong exercise nga gipili, you will also enjoy it every day. Okay, now exercise can also lower our blood pressure. So importante gyapon na that when you go to exercise, your pressure will also lessen. Muna nga ang mga ka-people nga high blood, it does not mean nga dili na ka mag-undergo og mga sports activities, but because it is also important for your health. Then it also reduces the risk of diabetes. So importante gyapon ang pag-exercise in order to lower your blood sugar as well as osteoporosis. Okay. So because through exercise, kung na kay osteoporosis, it would promote bone growth. Kay kung dili na mo grow imong bone, then that would lead to osteoporosis. Okay. Then it also improve your balance and reduce the risk of injury. Okay. When you continue to exercise, your bones will be strong and then mabalance ang imong paglakaw, ang imong pagdagan, or balance ang imong daily activities. That would also reduce to injuries. Because if it is not balanced ang imong paglakaw or in pag-exercise, then that would lead to several injuries. Okay. Exercise also can increase an overall strength of your body as well as longevity, and most especially, you will always be happy in your in everyday life or everyday activities. So mauni ang importante sa pag-exercise regularly. Okay? To look good, be productive, then it lowers different diseases like heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes, osteoporosis, as well as improving your balance and the reduction of injuries, as well as it would increase your strength, your longevity, and your happiness. So mauni ang importante sa pag-exercise regularly. Next slide. Okay, is to avoid smoking. Okay, so if you compare it with alcoholic beverage drinking, ang alcoholic beverage drinking is to drink moderately. Meaning to say nga, pwede ra kang mo inom but moderately. But for smoking, we have to avoid it because it would not lead us to a better life kung magsigita og sigarilyo. Because that would lead to various illnesses, not only in your lungs, but almost all parts of your body na ay effect sa smoking. Because what is inside a cigarette are chemicals not only that would lead to a serious effect sa atong body. Now, every 6.5 seconds, someone dies from tobacco use. This is based on the WHO statistics. So, every 6 seconds, na ay mamatay o due to the cigarette. And research suggests that people who start smoking in their teens and continue for 2 decades or 20 years or more will die of 20 to 25 years earlier. So kung for example, sayukan mo tabako, mo sigarilyo, instead nga mo, ang imong lifespan is 80 years old, at age of 60, siguro wala na ka because of the effect of smoking. Because it would lead to a lot of diseases in your body. Okay, next slide. So these are just an example of a smoker's body. Mao gyud ni ang among gipabalik-balik para makita nato sa atong mga pasyente, sa atong mga ka-people how important to stop smoking, because this would lead to different diseases from head up to toe. So, for example, cataract, hearing loss, osteoporosis, different types of cancer, or emphysema, or COPD sa imong lungs, or heart disease, sometimes ulcer sa imong stomach, then sa imong skin, that would also lead to different types of skin diseases, as well as discoloration of your fingers due to smoking, and also cervical cancer sa babae, or even that would lead to miscarriage, or so na po, buntis ka, nakuhaan ka because of the effect of smoking. Then deformed sperm. Sa mga lalaki, so dili ka kahatag og anak because your sperm is already defective. So that is due to heavy smoking. Then of course, Berger's disease nga ang atong mga kamo at tiil would be affected because of the effect of smoking. So, the smoker's body would reflect as how dangerous is smoking in our life. It would create so many diseases from your head down to your toe. So, importante yun nga, we have to stop smoking. So, katong pang wala naka-decide og undang og panigarilyo, mas maayo pa nga pagplano na mo og undang og sigarilyo. Dili importante kanusa, pero ang importante yun is kinahanglan you have the yung goal na muundang mo og panigarilyo, because that would only lead to life nga miserable sa imong family as well as sa imong kaugalingon. Okay, next slide. Okay, so those are the nutritional guide that we have to follow in order that we could maintain a healthy lifestyle. As I've said, we have to maintain our ideal body weight. We have to eat a complex form of carbohydrates because that would energize our body. Then we have to eat high fiber food in order to prevent diseases and regulate our GI tract. Then we have to limit our intake of fat and salt because sometimes that would lead to edema or sometimes high blood pressure. Then we have to drink moderately, alcoholic beverage moderately in order to prevent mga serious injuries in our lifestyle, because or somebody who are into skills like driving that would lead to injury or accident. Then we have to drink plenty of water because our body needs water. Our body is a machine of water wherein we need to drink plenty of water every day. Our liver needs water, our brain needs water, and our body as a whole needs water. Then we also need to regularly exercise in order that we could have a fruitful life ahead of us, as well as we have to avoid smoking. So all of this nutritional guide would make us a healthy, as well as it would provide us a better lifestyle, and it is always our choice whether we follow this or not. Ato ra ng kaugalingon pagbuot kung ato ba siyang i-follow in order to have a better life ahead of us. Okay, let us pause for a break.
Daghang kaayo ni siya na siya na natabang na ako ang People's Co-op. In fact, kanang ma-December bitaw nga naamoy mga promo bitaw, mga bugas bitaw. Kung mo deposit ka a certain amount or mo bayad ka sa loan, di ba naman na equivalent pila ka kilos nga bugas? Maninguha gyud ko, maka-deposit gyud ko, makabayad ko sa loan. Kaya ano, ang kanang mga bugas nga ihatag, ako nang i-repack, akong ihatag sa mga tricycle driver, ini ka Pasko. Daghan naka-avail gyud ko anang, oy mga sinako man to ako ganing makuha. Unya sad, kanasang na ay magkinahanglan og kwarta bitaw, para karon kinahanglan siya 50,000 kay ipa medical exam para abroad nga 1,000 sa kwarta nya dinalian. Nako diri ta sa co-op, kay kanang co-op kadaghan na gyud na makatabang nako. Muna mo recommend gyud ko ang ni mga co-op bitaw. Kay kana gud ang ila gud anang main purpose, tabang mo gud. Mutabang yung mga tao bang mga in need. Ay, magpasalamat yung ko diri sa People's Co-op. Kay kung wa pa ni sila ba, dili sa ko ka so generous ba nga mo pahuam dayon ba. Kay naa mo goy People's Co-op bang ako. Sige, arita diri sa People's Co-op. Mag-loan ta diri mo na mo na imong beranan ana ba. Pero og mapiki gani sila without their knowledge ba, ako'y mo bayan.
Okay, let us remind everyone, mga ka-people nato, nga nagpadayon ang paghatag sa atong COVID-19 immunization. Importante gihapon nga magpa-immunize ta sa atong COVID-19 para ma-sustain ang atong protection against this COVID virus. Katong naka-receive na sa primary booster, primary series, first dose o second dose, hinaot unta nga mo continue ta og pagdawat sa booster doses. In fact, ni anata sa ikaduhang booster. Meaning to say nga, atong i-sustain ang atong protection against this COVID-19 virus by kanang paghatag sa booster sa atong kaugalingon. kinahanglan nga magpa-immunize na ta or magpa-vaccinate na ta to sustain this COVID-19 protection against this COVID-19. So importante nga, there are other mga vaccination site nga still open, and this COVID-19 second booster is already starting for persons with comorbidities, senior citizens, as well as frontliners. So we will have this continue in providing this immunization to our countrymen. Sa atong mga all Filipinos, we need to have this booster immunization. Well though, we continue to provide immunizations sa atong children, 5 to 11 years old, and 7 to 14, 11 years old, and 12 to 17, then adult. So katong atong mga bata nga wala pa nabakunahan, then feel free to go to any vaccination site nga naghatag og immunization for those aging 5 to 11 years age, or 7 to 12 to 17 years of age. So importante yun na ang atong mga kabataan ron, especially nga mag face-to-face classes na, they need their protection. Okay, so ang kahimsog mao ang bahandi nga naghatag og dakong kahulugan sa atong kinabuhi. Ang maayong panglawas nagpasabot dili lamang pagkawala sa sakit o pagkaayo sa sakit, kundi apil ang atong physical, mental, as well as social responsibility. So when we have a high level of well-being, we will also have confidence which will enable us to succeed in all our aspirations. So let us remember that time and health are two precious assets that we don't recognize and appreciate until they have been depleted. So let us continue our responsibility to maintain and safeguard our health as we continue to journey in this world. Now that we are still facing this pandemic, we have to support, as I've said, our FDA-approved vaccine. Okay. Vaccination is a simple but profound way of promoting the common good and caring for each other, especially the most vulnerable. So mga ka-people, let us choose to be true to this purpose and choose to act in love by getting vaccinated against COVID-19. So this is Dr. Chris. Till the next episode for your health and wellness.